Alright, welcome to Train Sim World 2. Once again, we are on the German line, but we are not driving the ICE today. We're going to be driving the 442, the Talent 2. And also going from Aachen down to Cologne. It is a nice, cold, rainy winter morning here on the German route. So let's head to our office for today and get aboard. Right, so let's start the passengers boarding, so we'll put it into forward and then we can open the doors. And as always, we will be running all of these safety systems. No LZB on this train, just CIFA and PZB. This trip is going to be quite busy because we have a lot more to do on this train than we do on the ICE. And the main thing is going to be stopping at the correct stations. And so I have done this route a couple times before and I've made some notes which I have in front of me. So first note I have is 40 kilometers an hour out of the station, and then at board 696 we go up to 100 k's, and we need to brake for the first station at board 688. So we're going to have to pay close attention to the route markers on this trip. Right, we can close the doors now. Right, and we're going to run with no HUD and all safety systems, so trying to make this as realistic as possible. It is going to be quite difficult in this train. There is a lot to think about, so here we go. Let's get underway. So we are limited by PZB, so we're going to go up to 40 k's an hour, which I think is the track limit at this point anyway. So using the cruise control, to keep us at 40. And you're going to hear the CIFA horn quite a lot because there's a lot more for me to think about in this train, so I'm not going to always be thinking of CIFA like I normally do in the ICE. So you will hear the CIFA horn. Right, so at 694 is our board to speed up. So this is 696. There's the board. So at 694, the next one, we should have pretty much all of the train past that speed limit. So we can speed up to 100. We're now out of our PZB limit. So there is 694. Let's go ahead and speed up to 100. Then we are looking for board 688 to start braking for our first station. So there's the CIFA horn. And actually I don't think we're going to get up to 100. So that was 690. So the next one we're actually going to start braking. So we'll bring ourselves down to idle. There's 688. So we'll start slowing ourselves for the first station, which is Aachen Rothe Erde. Something like that, at least. So probably could have braked a little less at that point, but nothing wrong with that. Right, so there's our first station. Let's get the doors open, put this back to 0, and we'll bring up the HUD just to know when our passengers are ready to go. Right, so after this station, my notes say speed up to 110. And then at 668, we're going to speed up to 140. Then we're going to keep our eyes open for a speed restriction that's going to slow us down. So it's going to be an orange board that slows us down to 120. That's at board 622. And we're going to brake really hard there to get us down from 140, because we actually we stop at the station just after that. So the 120 speed limit slows us down just before the station, but we're actually stopping at the station itself. So we're gonna have to pay close attention to that. Right, let's get going. And right off the bat here, out of the station, we are up to 110 k's an hour. So a lot to think of. We've got to keep doing CFO, we've got to keep checking all of the signals, we've got to keep an eye on our speed, and we've got to keep an eye on our notes to know what's coming next and where to stop. And we're looking at those boards that give us the route markers, the numbers, to make sure we know where we are. So that 140 is not for our track. So there we are, board 676. The next one we're looking out for is 668. And remember, because we're going to Cologne, the numbers are going down. So there's 674, 672, 140 speed limit. So we're coming up to 140 now. And there we are at 140. So now we are looking for 622. That's our speed reduction to 120, where we're going to brake nice and hard. So 656, so we've got a way to go at 140 before we need to slow down. So we don't stop at this station. Okay, 648, 622 is the one we're looking for. I think we might actually start braking earlier, 620. Give us a little bit of extra time to slow down. So we just passed board 644. Three 8. 3-4. 3-0, so not long now, and we start slowing down. The next station is Stolberg. Signal's green. That's 2-4. Let's go into neutral. 2-2, and we can start braking already. There's our limit. I actually said start braking at 2-0, which is after 2-2, because remember the numbers are going down. So what I meant was 2-4. And it feels like we're going to stop way before the station, but the station kind of comes out of nowhere around this corner. I've missed this station so many times. Let's hope we don't actually overrun here, which we are going to. I think because of the rain, our wheels were slipping a bit. So we are going to be a little bit long. But there we are, we have made it. Let's open up the doors, reset these guys. Right, so a little bit overrun. We might actually need to brake even earlier, so I should probably make a note here. So 6 to 6 we should start braking. And we have to brake really hard. When I tested this, there was no rain, so I think the rain contributed a bit more. We had some wheel slip trying to slow down. But I mean, we weren't horrendously bad. We were a little over. Passengers can still get on. Not the end of the world. Right, next up, speed 110. Okay, let's close up. So we're going to go up to 110. And then we need to look for board 574. It comes up pretty quickly. And we need to start braking there for the next station, which is Urschweiler. Oh, we've still got a whole minute before we need to depart. Let's open the doors again just in case there are any stragglers that need to get on board. Alright, so we've got about 20 seconds to go. Let's close up. Okay, up to 110. We've got to keep a sharp eye out for board 574 to start slowing down for the next station. Right, we are ready to go. Let's get cracking. Okay, so they're telling us to slow down to 110. When we drive along here in the ICE, this is where we slow down to go through these stations at 110. And in the Talent, we are going to be stopping at those stations. So let's get our speed up to 110. Keep an eye on the signals. That yellow is not for us. We have a green signal. Right, there's 110. And there is the speed limit. Okay, board 574. And we are currently 590. So we've got a way to go. But the distance is perfect that you keep an eye on the boards and you go, oh, we're quite far. And then you relax and stop thinking about it. And then all of a sudden, up comes the station and you miss it. So I have to make a conscious effort here to stay focused on these boards. See, we're already down to 8.4. 8.2. 8.0. 7.8. Right, let's actually bring our power into idle and we can start braking. So just before the tunnel, we need to get the brakes on, get us down from 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. 110. That must be the station up ahead with all the lights. Yeah, we might actually overshoot this one as well. Okay, so definitely need some practice on the braking, but I think the wheels are slipping. I didn't have that issue when I tested, so my braking points have kind of been set up for the dry, so that's something to keep in mind. But we are still learning the route. That is the whole point of what we're doing. So let's actually make a note. So I said 574. We actually need to probably make that like 580. Give us a bit of breathing room to slow down. But that kind of thing's going to happen. This is only probably the third or maybe the fourth time I've done this route. So we still got a way to go to learn. It looks like we might actually be running slightly late. Well, in fact, we might actually be perfectly on time. Maybe a couple of seconds over. Because it normally takes about 8 or 9 seconds for the doors to close. Right, so we're actually kind of 3 seconds early. That's fantastic. Okay, so my notes say speed after the station 110, and then we're going to look out for board 558. Around there, we're going to speed up to 160. Okay, so 110 is what we're looking for. And what was that board? 558. We go up to 160. So we're 562, so not far to go before we get that 160. Right, there it is, 160, and that's going to be our maximum speed on this route. Okay, next we need to pay close attention. 520, so quite a while to go. 520, we need to start slowing down, and at 516, so just after that, we have a PZB acknowledge because we're going down to 80 k's an hour. So 520, next significant point, that's where we start our braking. Right, there's 160. Still green on the signals. Managing CFO. Looking out for 520. So what do we know? 536, not far to go. Right, so when we hit the PZB around 516, we need to PZB acknowledge, and we need to get our speed down to 80 and below 85 within 23 seconds, and then obviously 80 before the next signal. There's 524. That's a flashing green, which is telling us we need to slow down. That one's also flashing. Right, so there we have our speed limit of 80. So we'll do PZB acknowledge. We've got the 1000 hertz light. So we need to get our speed down now. Below 85 within 23 seconds. Okay, so there's 85, and we can stick at 80. Right, 496, we need to start braking. Okay, there is our 80 speed restriction. We are at 80, that's perfect. What are we at? 502. And this is 80 and 80. I think we might need to PZB acknowledge this. Okay, it looks like we didn't need to. We're already at 80. .498. Let's start braking for the next station. It looks like we might have another speed limit up there, which we were at 80, so this will probably take us down to 40. Or is that just an orange light? I think it's just a yellow light. Right, so here is the next station. This is Langerweg. I feel like I didn't say that anywhere close to correctly. Also, it doesn't help that I can't read my handwriting because I was scribbling down these notes as I was driving the line. Okay, that's C4. Right, so we actually slowed a little early for this one. But I did think that we had a 40 speed limit, so I braked pretty hard to meet that, but it wasn't. It was actually just a yellow light. Right, there's the stop point. Okay, let's open up for the passengers. We'll bring up the HUD to see when they're ready. Right, so we're going to be running slightly late because it's going to take longer than 30 seconds to board and close up. Right, let's go back to the notes. So after the station speed limit 80, which we can actually see right there. But as soon as we are clear of the station, we can actually go back up to the line speed, which is 160. Then we need to keep our eyes open for board 412, where we've got another 80 slowdown with a PZB, obviously. Yeah, so we are going to be a little bit late. So 412 is the number we've got to keep an eye out for. Right, we can close up. About 35-40 seconds late. Not the worst. And let's go on to the next station, which is Durian. Okay, it's going to take longer for us to get above 80 than it is for our train to get out of the station. So we're just going to go straight up to the line speed of 160. Okay, and we're looking for board 412. I think that was 486. So we've got a way to go. 484, yeah. Makes sense though, we shouldn't get up to 160 if we're going to only do it for a couple of minutes. Or a couple of seconds more like it. It probably will be a few minutes. CFO. And just checking the signals, making sure they're all green. The sun is just starting to rise up ahead of us. Okay, 140 coming up. Uh, 472. Right, there's 160 coming up now. Pop the cruise control on, keep us at 160, and we are going to sit like this for a little while. So really just have to worry about CIFA and checking our route markers. and also just making sure we read all the boards just in case there was a speed restriction or something that I missed. The most important thing is going to be those route markers and of course the signals, because the signals won't be the same every time you do the route. If there's a train ahead of us, we could have a yellow signal, so we need to just pay attention to that. I can't make notes of where those occur because they won't always be the same. The track speeds though will always be the same. Okay, 442, got a way to go. 412 is what we're looking for, and I'm going to keep saying that just so I don't forget, because I've got to remember to keep my eyes on those boards, because it's very easy to get distracted by the scenery and whatever, and then before you know it, you've blown through the station. I've done that quite a few times on this route, and that just shows you, I only realized when I started driving this train just how much of a difference LZB makes. It really does take so much workload off of the driver. Okay, 424, little way to go, and then we start slowing down for Durian. Okay, so at 412 we're going to slow down to 80, which means we need a PZB that as well. Right, there it is coming up. So we've got the 1000 hertz. We need to slow down below 85 within 23 seconds. Which is actually more difficult than it seems. Yeah, we didn't slow down quick enough. I thought that might happen. Right, so there's nothing we can do until the train actually stops. So, interesting. I think that just goes to show just how much of a difference the wet weather actually makes. Right, so now we've sorted out PZB, but it does mean that we're going to be restricted now to 45. Okay, I'm going to have to let the brakes release first. So we need that to extinguish before we can get moving. It does take a few seconds. You can hear the air releasing. There we go. Actually, I always have this set to one position down rather than neutral, so I think I could have actually done that earlier. Okay, let's release PZB so that we can actually get back up to a decent speed, but we don't want to go too fast. We'll probably go up to about 60 because we are stopping quite soon. So our next station is Durian at 394. We need to be slowing down already. So this is the station coming up. So we'll hold it at 40. Right, so the rain does make a huge difference because the previous time I tested this when I was making my notes, I managed to slow down without getting stopped by PZB at that 80 restriction. And this time we were quite a long way off. It took a while to stop, even after the emergency stop kicked in. It is also possible that I might just be going too hard on the brakes, and that's just causing them to slip. Because obviously if the wheels slip, you slow down less than if you apply less braking and the wheels don't slip. So it's quite a balance that you have to get going. Right, let's bring ourselves to a stop now. I don't know why there's no stop markers at some of the stations. Right, let's get the doors open. So the other way I can open the doors is actually like this. I don't have to move my view, which does make things a little easier. And we are going to be quite late now because because of that emergency stop. So we're a minute late to arrive at the station. We should have actually already departed the station a minute ago. But I guess this is all part of learning the track. It is definitely going to happen. But we learn from it. So now we know in the rain, we've got to add a significant amount of stopping distance onto the notes that I have. Okay, so we're now at Durian. So after this, we can go up to 100. Then I missed the board, so I don't know the route marker, but we do speed up to 160. Then at 212, we need to slow down to 100. And that brings us to station 5, which is Horum at 188. And we'll be slowing down all the way from 212 for that. Right, let's go. Okay, so next we can go up to 100, and then because I missed the board marker, we're just gonna have to keep our eye out for the board that says we can do 160. There's our 100 speed limit. And I do need to learn what these white lights mean. Okay, there's 100 coming up now. So we'll go cruise. Let's see if I can spot the route marker for this 160 speed, just so I can add it to my notes. Yeah, 376 we are now. Our next station is Horum at 188. Sorry, 188. Geez, so we got a long way to go, because we're still at 372. I hope I haven't missed this 160 board. And that's the problem with not having the numbers, because if I knew the number for that 160 speed limit and I'd missed the board, but I looked and see, okay, we've passed it, then we could just speed up. Now I'm a bit worried to speed up in case we haven't passed it. Is that light flashing, or is it just just some poles going in front of it? Or maybe the cables or something. See, now I'm sure LZB, I'm not sure if this is where I think this is where we speed up to 250 in the ICE, which would make sense that around here we would be able to do 160 in the Talent, but I haven't seen the board and I'm now worried that we've missed it. So I think shortly after the station, if we don't see it, I think we're just going to pick up our speed to 160. Which means I've missed it again. So I still don't have the route marker number for that. Oh, that's 140, but it's not for us. Alright, I don't see anything. Let's pick up the speed to 160. I'm sure we're doing 250 at this stage in the ICE, so we should be all right. We will double check the speed map after the route and see if we were in fact allowed to do 160 at this point. I mean, it is really nice and straight here, and the next station is only 188. We're still 330, so we've got a long way to go to the next station. Okay, there's 160. Could be a lot smoother on those by pulling this down so that it's not fully accelerating and then trying to stop at 160. But that will come with a bit more practice when I'm more comfortable with the route. Yellow markers. See, at this point of the track on the ICE, we're doing 250, so I'm sure 160 is fine for us at the moment. Okay, 370. So a long way to go to Horham Station. We need to start slowing at about... Oh, we're going to slow down at 212. We're going to start slowing down to 100. And then from there we will gradually just keep slowing down until the station. Like it's not really raining anymore. Oh, there are a couple of drops every now and then. Right, so at least we can relax a little bit because we've got a nice long cruise all the way to 188. And the cruise control is managing the speed. We do need to be ready 212, so we've got a little way to go. We're 274 at the moment. 212, we need to slow to 100. So I did say in my notes at 212 we go power to 0 and start coasting, and then start braking at 206 for the 100 speed. But I think I'm actually going to put in a bit of brakes already at 212 just because of what's happened to us so far on this route. Okay, what are we now? 256. Signals are still green at least. And I think we are actually the first train of the morning. We haven't seen any trains going in the other direction. I don't think we have. So if we were to pass a train going the other direction, it would probably happen around here somewhere. Because obviously there should be a first train departing from the other end of the route. So we might come across another Talent 2 running in the opposite direction somewhere around here. Okay, 212 is our next significant point. What are we at now? That look like 228. 226. Green signal. 220. Oh, they're very difficult to read when they're all the way on the right hand side. That's a green light flashing, so we need to start slowing. There's our slow to 100, so we don't need to PZB that. So we'll keep a little bit of braking because Harum is coming up. Okay, I need a route marker. 194. So we have actually slowed a little bit much. I think this is the station coming up here. 190, yeah, 188, so the next one is the station. Okay, so we are going to be running a little bit late on this route, but I'm in the process of learning it, so I'm not too worried about that. We've already learned a lot. We've learned just how much the rain affects the traction, and we've made some adjustments to some of our braking points in my notes. Right, let's go ahead and open the doors. Okay, so still 2 minutes over time. I mean, I really think I could have done a lot worse for my first fully unassisted no HUD full safety systems, because obviously when I did the run to make the notes, I had the HUD on and I didn't have all the safety systems on, so I could just pay attention to the route itself. So this is really my full run on this route, using my notes that I made before with all the safety systems and no HUD. So I'm not really worried about running a little bit late. Okay, we can close the doors. There's the other talent passing us. Right, after Harum, we can go right up to 160. That's why, because I was looking at that signal and it said 100, but it's because we're moving now onto this track, so we can go all the way up to 160. And the next station is Cologne, so that's the end of the route. Right, so next we need to look. Oh, sorry, no. We're going to Cologne Ehrenfeld. So we have another station just before the final station. Okay, so we've got 2 more stops. Right, there's our 160 speed limit, which we're climbing up to. Okay, so now we need to look for board 54. So we've got a while to go for that. So we'll cruise along some more at 160. Start braking. So I've written 54. I'm going to add a little bit onto that because we've struggled with slowing down today. So let's see if I can make this transition to cruise control a little smoother. A little bit better. Right, so we'll probably start braking 56, 58. That speed is not for us. Yeah, so probably 56 we'll start braking. Mind you, we are at 160. Let's do 58. We'll start braking at 58. We'll stop at Cologne Ehrenfeld. And then from there we are on to our final stop for the route. Nice sunrise. Really nice straight piece of track, and we can just cruise along at 160. Okay, board 1 was that 178? 11, that was 118. Now 116, 114. So it actually does go by quite quickly because you looked at 150. Like, geez, we're going all the way to 58, but we're already down to 100 almost. So it does go by quite quickly, and you need to be paying attention. Now, I tried Train Sim probably 3 or 4 years ago, and I just had no idea about the safety systems, the CFA, the PZB, and I tried a German train on a German route, and I couldn't get moving out of the station because I'd go out of the station, speed limit said, I think it was 60 or 80, but obviously didn't know about PZB limiting me to 45, and then I just kept stopping, and eventually I gave up on the game, and I was like, no, I don't, driving trains is boring. But now that I've watched some videos and done some research into the safety systems, there's actually a lot going on when you're driving a train, especially on these German routes with the German safety systems. So I find it a lot more interesting, and it's not easy. Like, you think driving a train would be easy because you don't steer, but because you don't steer, there's all these other things that you need to be aware of. Because like in a car, if there's something in front of you, you just go around it. But in a train, you cannot do that. So you need to make sure that you're paying attention to the systems and you can stop before whatever is in front of you. Right, that signal's green. So is that one. We're now 6.6 and we're looking for 5.8. So not long now, and we will start braking for Cologne Ehrenfeld. 6.0. All right, let's come to neutral because the next one is where we start our braking. Okay, so there's 5.2. The station itself is at 38. That looks like it might be the station up ahead. So let's start braking again. That sign's always baffled me. You've got a 120 speed reduction and then literally right after it is a 140. It's not on our line, but I always wondered what's going on with that one. Right, much better approach we made to this station. We may have braked a little early. We did have to come into coast for a bit, but a lot better than the stations that we overshot. I would much rather have this situation than what we had in the earlier stations. Right, let's open the doors. Get back to idle. Right, after this station we go up to 70, which we can see there. And then we're going to slow at marker 20. We're going to slow to 60, which means we'll probably need a PZB that. And then there's another slow to 40 after that, so we'll PZB that one as well. Can take a look outside quickly. Not a lot of people on the train. I don't know why you're not getting on. Right, let's close up. Okay, so up to 70 we can do. And next up is our final stop. Ooh. Oh, we didn't PZB acknowledge the 70. Oof. Okay, I did not realize we had to do that. Right, let's... Okay, now I'm not sure why it won't let me go. I think we might have to just wait for the brakes because we still have that indicator. There we go, that's what it was. So let's get moving. We're now restricted to 45, but hopefully I can release that. Does not want us to release that speed restriction, so we'll stay at 40. Okay, so make a note that we need to acknowledge that 70. I did not think of that at all. And I cannot release this restriction. Right, we now finally managed to release it, so we can pick it back up to 70. And there's the 70 speed restriction. That's CIFO. I didn't panic. Right, now we just need to pay attention to the signals, because this is the final stretch into Cologne. So that's 60. So please acknowledge that one. Okay, we don't need to slow it too hectically because we're not above 85, so we don't have that 23-second issue. Keep ourselves at 60. And then we're also going to have to slow down to 40 at some point. Which is there. So let's start slowing down. We'll acknowledge that one as well. And the 1000 Hertz light went off and came back on, so it means it did pick up that we acknowledged that. Right, and then we're going to kind of just coast in at around 40. There's the station up ahead. This always freaks me out because it's actually marker 10, but I always think it's telling me the speed limit is 100, which would make no sense whatsoever here, but it's not. This part is always so weird in the ICE because you just come down from 250 k's an hour. I always want to say knots because I'm so used to flight sim. But you come down from 250 and then you coast in here at 40. It's really strange. Alright, but we have made it successfully to the end of the line. This is Cologne. Once again, no stop markers. So I normally stop at this one here. Well, I think it was actually the previous one that I normally stop at. Yeah, we've gone right to the end. Oops. Right, and we will open up the doors. Let's turn the lights off. We can reset this to 0. And we'll put the parking brake on. Wait, that's off. That's on. Right, we can bring up the HUD again. And we'll come over here. Oh, no one in this train. Should have all gotten off anyway, so we can switch all of the safety systems off. Let's take a look. It does actually look like everyone's off, which is pretty cool. Oh, there's one person. Hopefully they're on to go to the next route, which is going to be a good 20 minutes or so before it leaves. I've done that before. Let's close up, and that should end our session. I forgot to get off the train at the correct stop, so I sat on the train all the way to the end of the line until it turned around and went the other way. Okay, so we were way under the speed limit there. We could have gone up to that one. Yeah, we should have been doing 160 there already, so I definitely did miss that board there. Right, so we got a silver medal for that. Unexpected. Not unexpected, because we did overshoot a couple. So if we have a look, accuracy 8 meters, 32, 129, 126. And 87 at the last one. These ones are actually tough. It was actually this 32 129 that we missed. These other ones, there's no stop marker, so it's kind of difficult, obviously, because I'm playing without the indications and without the HUD. But anyway, that brings us to the end of this route. Thank you so much for watching. That was my first attempt in the Talent 2 doing the full line with full safety systems, no HUD. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next video.